Hello, and welcome to Feminine Prosperity Facebook Live Fridays. Today I have a special guest joining us, Anna Frolik, and she is an intuitive mentor and creative guide for spiritual entrepreneurs, authors, and creative business owners. Oh, Anna's here. Awesome. That was easy. It says adding. Just give us 1 second while we link up. Hopefully this will go smooth. Hey Jen, welcome. Bring them on camera, okay? Bring them on camera. Hey. Hey Marie. It keeps saying adding. I really hope this goes. Oh, here we go. Connection. Hey, how's it going?
I just had to set up my tripod a little bit differently because I had it sideways, but somehow I couldn't, I couldn't get my screen to flip that way. So
I know.
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm here.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Yay. I'm so
Thank
excited
you.
to dive into this topic and this interview. And as always, I love connecting with you, and I'm excited to dive in. So today on Feminine Prosperity Facebook Live, I'm interviewing, I have a guest, Anna Frolik, and she is going to talk to us about oracle card making. And she's going to share a little bit as well about her journey over the past year. Anna, I've been following Anna. I've known Anna in the online world for like 7 years probably, because It's been that long now. But she is really an inspiration when it comes to following your passion and following your joy and your intuition. And so I think that I always love to hear Anna's picture is tiny and on top of part of your picture. Can you rearrange them all? I don't know. Oh, maybe I can. Does it matter if I move? It's not letting me do anything. Anna's picture's tiny and on top.
I've never actually done this before, so I'm not sure.
Well, we did it last time and it turned out like okay. To me, you're just perched in the corner and I can see you okay. You are a little bit smaller than me. Well, you're a lot smaller than me, actually. Okay, well, Jen, can you see us though? Like, can you see my face and can you hear Anna? I know it takes a second to go through. Okay, well, okay, I'm going to continue and see what she says because I can't get it to move, so we'll just have to make do. Okay. So, like I was saying, Anna is a real inspiration when it comes to following your passion, your intuition, and your joy in business. And I've watched her do it over and over again throughout her online coaching career. So I always love, yes, it'll be fine. Awesome. Okay, good. I always love to really listen to where she's at in her journey. And I think she has a lot of wisdom to share with us. And also, Anna, of course, is here to talk to us about oracle card making. So she is an intuitive mentor and creative guide for soul-inspired entrepreneurs. She does private coaching and done-for-you services, and she helps spiritual and creative business owners get out of overwhelm, break free from the internal blockages that are holding them back, and bring their business visions to life with ease. Beautiful. So we're going to talk a little bit about the whole oracle card making process, which if you are an intuitive, a creative, an author, or a spiritual entrepreneur and you have thought about, or maybe it's just an inspiration or a dream of yours to do this eventually, Anna's going to share a little bit about her own process on how the decks she's designed for herself, but also her service, where she can actually help you from start to finish create and publish your very own oracle card deck. So I'm really excited to dive in. So Anna, why don't you share with us a little bit about how this has come about? Because about a year ago, or maybe even like 10 months ago, you were more focused towards the coaching side of it, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been a long journey. Um, I know I've shared some of this before, but basically I've been an entrepreneur for more than 10 years now, and there have been different seasons and a lot of different things I've explored. And so what happened about 2 years ago already, I had been in the coaching world for a little while, probably for a few years already, and I had reached a level of success that I had been working towards and that I had really been waiting for. But then I just hit this wall where I felt like there was no more passion, there was no more, real fulfillment. Like I had really been focused on healing my money story and all those things. And that was an important part of my journey. And that was what I was exploring at the time. But then all of a sudden it was like, okay, it's not about the money anymore. What am I going to do now? Like everything that I had created just kind of felt like it left that void within myself. And I had to kind of embark on this journey of reconnecting with my passion and my inner self and my joy and my purpose ultimately. And so I got started on this journey about 2 years ago, and it took until about the beginning of this year to really see the full magnitude of this transformation. Most of last year, I kind of just spent letting go and just kind of following my flow and really allowing myself to connect within. And it was really a journey into the unknown. But I didn't go far enough. I was still trapped in this box where I just felt like I needed to maybe change something about my coaching services or create different packages or change my ideal client or things like that. But whenever I did that, I always felt like it wasn't completely aligned. And again, I hit this wall of depression and I just wasn't feeling the passion. I felt so much resistance. And whenever I started promoting something on the coaching side of my business, I just felt so much resistance. I couldn't do it anymore. And so this year I got to the point where I just had to make a decision, really. And it was a beautiful thing because I pretty much just had to let go of the fear of the unknown completely and just be okay with completely releasing everything and just following my heart in the moment. And what was coming through, what already started coming through toward the end of last year, was that I really wanted to get back into more of a creative line of business, which is what I did in the past in different ways.
I love it.
When I started my first business, I was actually doing content editing and copywriting for mostly corporate clients back then. And so that just wanted to come back in. And I started getting messages from people who were randomly asking me for my creative services, even though I hadn't even really advertised them. So that was confirmation for me. And I just, every time that happened, I just felt joy. It's like, yeah, I really want to do this. This feels so good to me. It just feels so light and joyful and not always digging in my own pain or other people's pain as well. I feel that's something I really needed to let go. Because I was taking on, I think part of the resistance for me with coaching was that I was just taking on too much of the energetic and emotional baggage, not just like my own, but other people's as well. So I think the creative path was just what was really calling me this year, but it found me more than I really wanted to make it happen initially. So, and then everything evolved from there.
So beautiful. And so can you tell us what the biggest differences have been since, you talked about when you felt a little bit like trapped and it just, the pieces weren't clicking, versus now making this like step into, more of the creative work. How does it feel now in this space?
It feels amazing. I just knew right from the start when I first started sharing and when I publicly announced that I was going to offer my creative services from now on, everything just started flowing. I got so much feedback from people right away. I had so many sales calls just within the first month, and so many people who were interested in working with me. And I just felt that resonance whenever I got on a call with somebody. It just felt so natural, and I just loved it from the start.
Yeah,
And
that's amazing.
so that's been, I know you teach a lot about feminine prosperity. That's really been my journey this year, just allowing myself to receive and not always having to sacrifice something, and really being in that space of joy, and still allowing myself to, knowing that I deserve to receive in that space. And it actually makes everything so much easier because there's no resistance. So,
well, the passion piece, like when you were talking about like how passionate it felt, and I'm like, yes, because that's like, we deserve to feel passionate and fulfilled in our work, and feel abundant and prosperous. And that truly is feminine, one of the aspects of feminine prosperity. So I love it. And I love that you just, again, time and time again, sorry, I had a phone call come in. You always have the courage to take those leaps. And I think sometimes it does require courage to really look around and see where we've outgrown aspects of our lives, and where cycle has come full circle. I think I might be cutting out. But anyways, so go ahead and share with us wherever you kind of want to start in the scope of your journey with Oracle cards. And maybe just tell us a little bit about that first time you created your own Oracle deck, and how it felt. Because I really, that's an aspiration of mine, and I feel like it would be amazing to just have a physical product that, held the frequency and the creative artistry of my body of work. So yeah, go ahead.
So that journey actually started about 6 or 7 years ago already. That was pretty much when I was traveling, and I had just left Europe with all my belongings in just a suitcase and a carry-on bag, and I came back here to Canada unexpectedly. But then I started building a new home here, and I was going through a pretty intense healing journey. That was my initial spiritual awakening journey. And so I was mostly offering my services as an angel card reader and intuitive back then. That was pretty much what I was doing. And at the same time, the creative part of me, that always wanted to stay alive. And I had a lot of ideas. I wanted to write books and record guided meditations. I started doing that as well. And because I really loved working with Oracle cards, the idea came pretty naturally. I just knew that I wanted to create my own. So I started doing some research, and I found some companies that actually print those kinds of decks on demand. And so that was a good start. And I just downloaded a template from one of those companies and started creating. And so I focused a lot on the writing part of it back then. I'm definitely a writer, and I also love designing, but that's really evolved over the years now. But I was just getting messages for myself on my journey, on my healing journey. Every day I would tune in and connect, and I would receive short channeled messages that helped me on my own journey. And I started sharing them with people as well, and people said that they found them really helpful, and I felt that same effect as well. I could really feel the healing and the energy that was coming in, and so much beautiful wisdom that was coming through these cards. And it was also a beautiful way for me to ground my wisdom, because I was sharing a lot on social media, but it sometimes felt a little bit scattered. So yeah, I felt like I really wanted to create a product that would allow me to channel that in a different form and something a little bit more solid that I could then keep sharing with people, and that would also bring in some additional income, which was definitely important as well. So I went for it and I started creating, and I kind of couldn't stop creating. I ended up with 142 cards in my first deck. So
oh wow, that's incredible. And what was the name of your first deck, Anna?
Actually, the first prototype was the Divine Magic Oracle cards. Got them here. And
sure, yeah.
Let me just show you. So that was the first prototype. These are only, I think, 71 cards, beautiful. 71 or 72 cards. And then when I officially published it, and when I actually got my first batch of cards printed and shipped to my place, I turned them into a deck of magical heart healing cards. This is the current version.
Oh, beautiful.
And so these are the 142 cards with a message on each of them. And so
it's like a little book, essentially, really. Like when you have that many cards. That's really amazing. Well, I have a question as well about, because of course we always have the option to do it ourselves. I could go and create a deck of cards by myself. But I've also learned over the years that I really love someone else to guide the creative process, because it's one less thing that I have to do, and I can be really kind of, held in the process. And then to have someone that knows the steps saves me so much. I think I'm answering my own question, but somebody who knows the process, it saves me time from having to do all the research and price things out and figure out how to do it. But in your experience, I suppose both could be really enjoyable, but I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that now that I feel like I've answered the question.
Yeah, so you're asking about kind of the advantages of letting somebody else help you with the creative process.
Yeah, the differences, because there's probably something really beautiful about just doing your own journey with it as well. And then,
Yeah, there are a couple things. I mean, when I first got started on this journey, it definitely involved a lot of research and a lot of learning, and also some mistakes that I made. And you live and you learn. So what I actually did initially, because soon after I published this first deck, I started getting a lot of questions from people. So what I did back in 2015 was I took all my knowledge and put it into a DIY course. And that's still my most popular course right now. I really want to redo it this year because there's, I have so much new information and a lot more experience now. And that's on my list of to-dos right now. It's still one of my most popular courses. And what I started to see though too was that some people had a hard time implementing, and maybe they're just not, they don't really enjoy the graphic design or that process, or they don't have a lot of time. So it didn't click for a while, but last year, all of a sudden, I just had this idea to put that out there. What if I could offer this as a service? Because I had people reaching out, and I would share the course with them, and they were like, I'm not really into courses. And for some reason, I didn't think about making this, like turning this into an actual done-free service until sometime toward the end of last year. But then when I started sharing that, I got so much feedback, and there were actually people who were interested in working with me in that way. And so I would say that those who want the done-for-you service are mostly entrepreneurs who have been on this journey for a while already, who have a solid foundation for their business, who are also pretty busy with their work, and they just don't really they don't necessarily want to do it all on their own. whether it's for time reasons or also because it takes practice to figure out those skills. And if you've never worked with Photoshop before, it might just feel like a struggle. So that's kind of my intention with this service. And it's also, I feel it is another way for me to bring my healing gifts into my work as well. Like I definitely see the transformation that happens in the women I work with as well. You can never really run from your purpose, and everything always comes back in a different form. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So Anna, do you have artists on board for people who might not be as comfortable with the creative aspect or artist connections, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, that is definitely something that's on my list. And so far I've created the artwork for the cards myself, the projects that I've done so far. And I've had one client who created her own artwork, and I just did the graphic design. And so I create custom packages for everyone based on what they're looking for. Some clients even want copywriting as well, so that's something I can offer as well. And it really depends on the style of artwork that somebody's looking for. So some things I can do myself, and there are other things that might not be my style. So I do have, I'm building a database of artists who might be a good fit for future collaborations. So if that's you, then definitely feel free to contact me as well.
Yeah, reach out to Anna for sure. Wonderful. Well, so for somebody who is just kind of curious about what the first step is, so if they were to do it themselves, if you could just maybe give us like what would be just a couple little steps to get them started, or a way to connect with you as well.
I would say the easiest way to get in touch with me is always either through Facebook Messenger, or if we're not connected on Facebook, through my website, which is annafrolik.com. And I do have a bit of information about my services on my website with some examples of what a package could look like, and more information about the entire process and what can be included, and the timing of everything. And so what I typically do when somebody reaches out, I offer them a free consultation to, do some visioning and really outline the specific details of the deck, because there are a lot of different things involved. Looking at the big picture of things and the energy they want to have in the deck, and then looking at the different components, how many cards, the size of the cards, what kind of box do you want? Do you want a box at all? Do you want to have a booklet in there? And I can also guide them a little bit if they have questions. And then looking at what parts,
there's a lot to consider.
Yeah, like what parts of the creative process they need help with, if they want to create the artwork themselves, which, can definitely happen. I've had inquiries from artists who definitely want to create their own artwork, but they might not be comfortable with the graphic design. And do you need help with copywriting or editing, anything like that? And then after that, I'll send them a quote for the package, and then we can move from there. And they're always free to decide whether or not they want to move ahead with it. But this is pretty much the initial phase of the process.
Oh, wonderful. I love it. Well, it's been so amazing this year to see all of these Oracle baby card decks being birthed, and seeing pictures on your Facebook timeline, and seeing all the happy owners with their new card decks. So I don't have any other questions for you, Anna, but if there's anything else that you want to add, definitely. And I think there was one question I saw come up from Jessica Elfar. I'll ask you after if you have anything else you'd like to add.
Okay, maybe we can go into questions now. The only thing that just came through for me was maybe I could pull a card for everybody.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, I'll run this question by you. Jessica Elfar was asking, are there any companies you would recommend to start with for self-publishing?
For self-publishing, there are a few. I would say print on demand is always a good way to get started, even if you don't want to self-publish. So the process that I usually go through with my clients too is I just create the prototype of the deck first, and then we get a proof copy printed from one of the print on demand companies. And so the one that I mostly work with today is makeplayingcards.com. That's my favorite because they have a lot of different templates and options, and the quality of their products is really good. So one thing you should know about print on demand, there's a difference between digital printing and offset printing. So if you want to get like a larger batch print, it usually starts around 500 copies. Then you can go with offset printing, and that's a totally different process. It's more affordable if you if you want to get a large batch of cards printed, that's the more affordable option, and it's also better quality typically, but digital printing has really improved a lot in the past few years. So I would say with makeplayingcards.com, they are print on demand and it's digital printing, but the quality is really good. And then there's another one, the Game Crafter. This deck is actually from them, and they've also gotten a lot better. The first deck I got printed back in 2012 or 13 was also from there, and I wasn't so happy with the quality, but no, I just wanted to work with them again out of curiosity, and it's like night and day. So those are my two favorites.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that. Thank you. All right, yeah, if we want to pull some cards, I'd be totally game for that.
Okay.
I'm not sure where to start. So you probably can't see who we have on, can you, Anna?
No, I can't, but I think I'm just gonna maybe pull a card for everybody.
Oh yeah.
So that was what I had in mind. One of my cats just joined me. I have my laundry basket over there. They just love sleeping in there.
Aww.
Okay, so I'm just gonna work with the magical heart healing cards, and what I can maybe do after this too, I can share a few more examples of decks that
would love that.
I have here as well. So just for people to see what's possible. Okay. Magical heart healing card for everybody. And I'm asking for the message that will most serve everybody who is listening to this live or also watching the replay later on.
Beautiful.
Haha, I like this one. It's Ganesha's song.
Ooh.
So these are all very poetic. I kind of created a fusion of spiritual teachings and poetry in these cards.
Oh, wow.
And this one it's number 71, Magical Help and Removing Obstacles. You have powerful helpers in the other realms. Whenever you find yourself struggling with obstacles on your path, do not hesitate to call upon their assistance. Sing your most beautiful songs to invoke the presence of these magical beings, and they will gladly intervene on your behalf. Their touch has the power to dissolve even solid rock into something lighter than thin air. And there's always a magic prayer / affirmation at the bottom as well. And this one is, all obstacles on my path dissolve with ease and magic. So the first message that's actually coming through is for you to remember that this is also inside of you. So whenever you call out for help when you connect with your spirit guides or the different archetypes of the spiritual realms. These are all aspects of yourself as well. So the power starts within you, but you're also in relationship with the different aspects of the universe, the different beings in this universe, and it's just another way to connect with yourself. And there's been a lot coming through for me lately, actually, about vulnerability, and there's so much talk in the self-help industry about, you know, claiming your own power and self-realization and finding the power within yourself. But then once you've mastered that, you actually realize that there's more to it than that. You're not alone on this journey, and
Totally.
and that's when the heart opening journey starts, where you get the invitation to reconnect with others and open up and learn to trust, and, you know, not just yourself, but life and all that is. So this is what's coming through. Also, I'm hearing really trust, for those of you who are currently in a situation that may feel a bit challenging. I'm hearing really keep the faith and trust, just trust that everything's going to work out perfectly.
Beautiful.
And all the resources you need and all the help you need is really available to you. If
that's so timely.
It doesn't come to you naturally, ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask.
Thank you. I love it. That's so timely. That was a little bit of what came through with where I'm at in my journey, but also with what came through in my journaling practice this morning. So I love it. And I'm seeing on here your card is so correct. And there's many thanks from a few different women for pulling a card. So thank you for doing that. Really beautiful. Perfect card. Yeah, Alana said thank you so much.
You're
Amazing.
So welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining me on Feminine Prosperity Facebook Live Fridays. As always, it was a pleasure, Anna. And then I hope, did you want to stick around in the Facebook group and maybe do a couple card pulls? You wanted to share some of your cards, your card decks. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. I'll just share a couple more examples.
Yeah.
There was a client deck that I really wanted to share that just got printed. Unfortunately, I don't have permission to share it yet. But I can share a few others, so just to kind of show you what's possible.
I was going to say, could we, because you post them on your timeline, but maybe that's not a good idea.
I had to remove them, yeah, for now.
Okay.
But
okay, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
But here's another one. This is the very first deck that I created for my first client this year. And she created the artwork for her cards herself. So I really like the box. This one is from from makeplayingcards.com. So kind of exploring different versions of boxes, and so just to show you a few cards. These are also poker size like mine. And I use like a glossy finish, which I really, really like the quality of these.
Yes.
Got here. Yeah. Rising to be seen.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice one. And then
you too, Marie.
I want to show you actually an example of a deck that I haven't created myself, but I received this one from one of my coaching clients recently. She reached out for help with her marketing, which is also something I'm moving into a little bit more now. She had already created her deck, and these are from the Game Crafter.
Oh, wow.
Also very nice, and that's her own artwork.
Wow.
So this is let me see. This is a really beautiful one. So this is a jumbo size deck with larger cards, and she printed the messages on the backs of the cards. And I'll include a link to
Incredible.
her shop in the comments. So if you want to check those out.
Sure.
And also, yeah, they have a really nice shiny finish. It's a little bit different. The Game Crafter, like, they don't do gloss, but it's UV coating with linen finish. So it's kind of the best quality that they have. And
wow.
Yeah, really beautiful as well. So that's one way. And she doesn't have a box. She just puts them in little pouches, which is possible as well.
Yes.
And
wow.
Then, okay, one more. This one is actually getting a makeover right now. This is also one that I created back in 2014, but actually never published. So I've only been using it for myself. So this one's gonna get a makeover with a box soon. And so for this one, I used the artwork of the old masters, which I really adore.
Amazing. I think I've seen you post those recently on your Facebook page, maybe.
I did. So I haven't actually ordered them yet. I've been so busy with lots of different things, but that's also something that's in the works right now. So these are just a few examples of what's possible.
Cool. I love how unique and all well done. Like each of them, they're so well done and so unique. I had no idea you could, I mean, it makes sense, but get jumbo size. Like that's really cool. I love it.
Yeah, like most of my
and so much
clients,
to consider. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say most of my clients, kind of prefer the standard oracle card size. So that is possible too. Or the other one that I wished I could show you today, that's a tarot size, which also turned out really nice with gilded edges too. It's really,
it was very pretty.
Yeah.
Very pretty. Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much. And if you have questions for Anna, if you happen to watch the Facebook Live after and you have questions, I'm sure if you pop them below, Anna would be happy to answer them. But otherwise, thank you everyone who popped on and everyone who's here with us. And I think, Anna, unless you have anything else to add, I think that brings us to the end.
I feel pretty much complete. I think I've shared the most important things, but definitely if anybody has questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I know there will probably be quite a few people watching the replay as well, so definitely leave questions and I'll pop in to answer as many as I can throughout the day. And maybe I'll probably be busy over the weekend, but I'll check back Monday as well.
For sure.
So definitely.
For sure. And if you're somebody who's watching this and you've been dreaming about creating your own oracle card deck and you're ready to get started, you can absolutely reach out to Anna. And it sounds like setting up a time just to tap into the vision and see how Anna can help you would be an ideal next step. So thank you, everyone, again. Have a beautiful weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you, Anna.
Thanks, everyone, and talk to you soon.